So I hate Manfrotto fluid head clamps and plates, and I think I've found a better solution. So I have a pet peeve, and it's using the clamps that come on the Manfrotto video fluid heads. What I find is if I have a big heavy rig, it's kind of difficult to slide the rig in. And then once you have the rig in place, it's very difficult to tighten the clamp because the knob hits on the bottom of the camera. And I have an example of that right here. The other issue that I have with it is that if I have a smaller camera rig that I want to use on the video head, there's really no option except to put one of the big plates on the bottom of even a small camera to put it on that rig. And so I've been looking for a solution that would address both of those issues, and I think I've found it. So the solution I came up with is using parts that I got from Smallrig and from Peak Design. So first is the Smallrig Arca Swiss clamp. Then I'm using the Peak Design dual plate V2. The Smallrig clamp and plate comes in at about $59, and the Peak Design plate is about $25. So I've invested in 2 of the Smallrig clamps and 2 of the Peak Design plates, and total there would be about $120.50, about $170 for that. And I think that gives me a lot more flexibility. So when I shoot, I'm either using a lighter rig or I'm using a heavier, fully rigged out camera. And when I use the rigged out camera, I have like an Atomos Ninja 5 mics, it's in a cage, and that gets fairly heavy. The other heavy option that I have is when I'm using my 70-200 telephoto zoom lens. And when you use that and you use it has the foot on the bottom of the lens, you really need something fairly heavy duty to hold that. And the Arca Swiss clamp is heavy duty enough and the plate is large enough that that gives some real stability to both of those rigs, a fully rigged out camera and a rig that has a very heavy lens. So the nice thing about the Smallrig clamp is it allows you to do a top-down drop-in onto the clamp. It doesn't require that you slide the camera in from the back. The other thing is the Smallrig clamp is a 2-position clamp. So if you open it to the first position, the camera will loosen so you can adjust it a little bit, but it can't come out forward or back. If you open the clamp all the way, then you can vertically remove the camera. Now for my lighter rig, it's not unusual for me to use the lighter rig on both a heavy-duty tripod, on my monopod, or even transfer that over to a really lightweight tripod that I have, or even a gimbal. And the advantage of the Peak Design plate is that it's both Arca Swiss compatible and it's compatible with the Manfrotto RC2 clamps. So the RC2 clamps are the Manfrotto clamps that have been around forever. They're much better for a lightweight rig where you don't need a super heavy duty clamp. But the nice thing about it being dual function is that I can still use my lightweight rig on a heavy duty tripod, and then immediately I can switch over to using it on my gimbal, and it just takes a second. So Manfrotto also makes sort of a dual use plate that is supposedly Arca Swiss and the RC2 clamp compatible. But I use the Peak Design little connector tabs, and with the Peak Design dual plate, I can still attach those tabs and use either one of the clamps. I figure by spending $170, I've now been able to set up all of my gear with clamps and plates that allow me to quickly change between support systems, whether it's tripod, the heavy-duty tripod, lightweight tripod, monopod, or even my gimbal. So I hope this has been helpful to you. This has been a really helpful system change for me. It makes me much more flexible when I'm on a shoot, And if you have any questions about this, leave them in the comments below. And if you like this content, be sure and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.